Book title, Darkness Follows. Prelude. Shadows of Hallowhaven was just the beginning of Jonathon and Catherine's relentless pursuit of justice and their desperate attempts to unmask the true face of evil. The cursed shadows may have cast their sinister influence over Hallowhaven, but the duo was determined to shine a light on the dark secrets that lay hidden within. Will Jonathon and Catherine succeed in their quest to free themselves from this nightmare? Or will the guardian of the shadows claim them as its eternal prisoners, forever trapped in a realm of darkness and despair? Only time would tell. Chapter 1. Shadows of Hallowhaven. The moonless night cast a foreboding shadow over the ancient town of Hallowhaven. Jonathon and Catherine, two unlikely companions, roamed the desolate streets as whispers of secrets and hidden truths lingered in the air. Jonathon, a seasoned detective with a keen eye for detail, was known for his relentless pursuit of justice. His tall frame, shrouded in darkness, exuded an aura of strength and determination. Catherine, on the other hand, was a mysterious figure with fiery red hair and piercing emerald eyes. She possessed an uncanny ability to decipher cryptic clues, making her an invaluable asset to Jonathon's investigations. The duo had been drawn to Hallowhaven by a series of peculiar occurrences that had plagued the once peaceful town. Strange disappearances, unexplained deaths, and tales of an ancient evil whispered among the townsfolk had led Jonathon and Catherine to believe that Hallowhaven was harboring a sinister secret. As they walked, Jonathon's voice cut through the eerie silence. "Catherine, we must proceed with caution. The cursed shadows have a vice grip on this town, and we must uncover their true intentions." Catherine nodded solemnly, her eyes scanning the twisted alleys and dilapidated buildings. "I can sense a dark force at work here, Jonathon. It's as if the very air is filled with their sinister presence. We must be prepared for anything. Yes, indeed." The sound of their footsteps echoed off of the cobblestone streets, adding to the unsettling ambience. Shadows danced menacingly on the walls, as if mocking their every move. It was clear that Hallowhaven had long been plagued by more than just fog and mist. The entangled web of secrets and treachery seemed impossible to unravel, but Jonathon and Catherine refused to back down. As they continued their investigation, they stumbled upon an old woman huddled in a corner. Her frail form was barely visible under the layers of rags she wore. Jonathon approached her cautiously, his voice filled with genuine concern. "Excuse me, ma'am? We're trying to get to the bottom of the disturbances in Hallowhaven. Do you know anything or have any information for us that could help us?" The woman's watery eyes locked with Jonathon's, a glimmer of recognition flickering within. "The shadows? They hold the key," she croaked, her voice barely audible. "Beware of the cursed shadows, for they seek to consume Hallowhaven and all who reside within." Jonathon exchanged a glancing stare out with Catherine, sensing that they were on the cusp of a major revelation. "Thank you, ma'am. We'll keep that in mind. Stay safe," he said with genuine concern before he and Catherine continued their journey through the irregular streets. As they navigated the twisted paths and hidden passageways, they encountered various townsfolk, each draped in fear and secrecy. Every conversation they had only further deepened the mystery surrounding Hallowhaven. Whispers of a forgotten curse, ancient rituals, and an evil entity lurked in the shadows, fueling their determination to uncover the truth. Hours turned into days, and every step the duo took brought them closer to unraveling the sinister veil that was cast upon Hallowhaven. Their resolve only grew stronger with each encounter, and every new clue leading them closer to the heart of darkness. Chapter 2. The Haunting Past. Jonathon and Catherine sat side by side in the dusty Hallowhaven archives, surrounded by stacks of yellow paper and ancient books. The air was thick with the musty scent of aged paper, adding an eerie feeling to their quest for answers. They were determined to uncover the truth behind the town's dark history. I can't believe the stories we've heard about Hallowhaven, Jonathan said, his voice filled with curiosity. Tales of mysterious disappearances, ghostly apparitions, and a curse that has plagued the town for centuries? Catherine nodded, her eyes flickering with both fear and excitement. It's as if Hallowhaven is trapped in its own haunted past, she replied. Jonathan, we have to find out what really happened. Only then can we help these people who are still affected by these cursed shadows. With a sense of purpose, they began meticulously sorting through the ancient documents, searching for any shred of information that could provide a clue. As they flipped through the yellowed pages and deciphered faded handwriting, they discovered an intriguing diary written by a former resident named Amelia Thompson. She might have answers, Jonathan said, carefully turning the brittle pages. As he read aloud, Catherine listened intently, her imagination conjuring up images of the events that had unfolded all those years ago. Day 1. The shadows have a life of their own. They twist and turn, whispering secrets long forgotten. The people of Hallowhaven have become prisoners of their own fears. Day 7. The curse grows stronger with each passing day. Those affected are tormented by the apparitions, their minds slowly slipping into madness. Day 13. No one can escape the shadows. They crawl through the town like trendles of black mist, consuming everything in their path. Day 14. Elizabeth and Seraphina joined our fight today. Jonathan closed the diary with a sigh. It seems Amelia was witness to the horrors that plagued this town. However, the diary just ends with no real clues or answers, he said, his voice filled with sympathy. And she never revealed what caused the curse or how it could be broken. The diary only ends with an alliance and says no more, Catherine replied, her frustration evident. The duo decided to seek out the assistance of a local resident who might have more knowledge about Hallowhaven's history. They made their way to the town square, where an elderly man named Samuel sat on a bench feeding pigeons. Approaching him nervously, Catherine mustered the courage to ask, "Excuse me, sir. We've been researching the history of Hallowhaven and its cursed shadows. Do you perhaps know anything that could help us?" Samuel looked up, his eyes filled with a mix of sadness and wisdom. The cursed shadows," he muttered, his voice quivering with a lifetime of memories. "A tragic past, indeed. The shadows are said to be the restless souls of those who perished in a great fire that consumed this town many years ago." Jonathan and Catherine exchanged startled glances, their hearts pounding. "The fire was no ordinary tragedy," Samuel continued. "It was rumored to have been deliberately started by a sorcerer named Lucius, seeking revenge on the townspeople who had banished him for practicing dark magic." "So the curse is connected to the sorcerer?" Jonathan asked anxiously. Samuel nodded gravely. "According to the town's legends, the curse can only be broken by finding the lost book of Lucius. This ancient book contains secrets that could banish the shadows forever." Jonathan and Catherine thanked Samuel for his valuable information, their minds racing with newfound determination. "We have to find that lost book," Catherine said firmly. "If we can break the curse, we can bring peace back to Hallowhaven." Jonathan agreed, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. "We won't rest, Catherine, until we've uncovered the truth and put an end to this haunting past." With their new sense of purpose before them, they set off on their journey, ready to face the horrors that awaited them in their relentless pursuit of the truth. Chapter 3, Lost Souls. Jonathan and Catherine roamed the streets of Hallowhaven, burdened by the weight of the town's sorrow. The disappearances had multiplied, leaving behind shattered families and a growing sense of unease. The once vibrant town was now shrouded in a cloud of fear, its once lively inhabitants reduced to mere shadows. It was on a cold, moonlit night that Jonathan and Catherine found themselves huddled in a dimly lit tavern, seeking solace from the darkness that consumed Hallowhaven. As they nursed their drinks, the whispers of despair reached their ears, tales of lost souls entangled in the clutches of the cursed shadows. Their hearts sank at the mere thought of innocent lives being snuffed out by this evil dark force. "We can't just stand here and do nothing," Jonathan said, his voice laced with determination. There must be a way to save them, to break the hold of these cursed shadows. Catherine nodded, her eyes flickering with the same fervor. You're right, Jonathan. We owe it to them to find a solution and to bring an end to this nightmare. With their new sense of purpose, the duo set out to uncover the secrets hidden within the depths of Hallowhaven. They sought out anyone who had encountered the cursed shadows, desperate for answers that could guide their next move. Their search led them to the outskirts of town, where a weathered old woman named Abigail resided. Abigail was said to possess an uncanny knowledge of the dark magic that plagued Hallowhaven, and her wrinkled face held the mark of 1,000 sorrows. Abigail, Jonathan began, his voice soft but resolute, we've heard that you may have answers. We need to know how to break the hold of the cursed shadows. The old woman's eyes shimmered with recognition as well, her weary gaze fixed upon the duel. The cursed shadows, a power rooted in ancient ritual and the darkest desires of men. To break its hold, one must be willing to pay an unimaginable price. Jonathan and Catherine exchanged glances, their determination growing even stronger. We'll do whatever it takes, Catherine declared, her voice steady. Abigail nodded solemnly. Very well. To release the lost souls from the clutches of the cursed shadows, you must find the enchanted talisman, hidden deep within the heart of Hallowhaven's haunted forest. But beware, for the forest is full of treacherous passageways designed to trap and deceive those who dare to enter. Armed with this knowledge, Jonathan and Catherine ventured into the depths of the haunted forest, their hearts pounding in their chests as they navigated the twisted branches in the eerie glow of the moonlight. They couldn't help but feel the weight of the desperate souls they longed to save. Hours soon turned into days as they pressed on, camping at nearby foliages, facing challenges and overcoming obstacles that threatened to break their spirits. And finally, amidst the whispering trees and chilling moans of the wind, they stumbled upon a hidden grove, bathed in ethereal light. Deep in the heart of the grove stood a towering statue adorned with the ancient talisman they so desperately sought. Its aura pulsated with a flickering glow as it held the essence of the lost souls themselves. Jonathan and Catherine exchanged a glance, their eyes reflecting both determination and hesitation. Though they were tired from their long day's journeys, they knew that claiming the talisman would come at a great cost, one that they could not yet fathom, but their resolve remained unshaken. With trembling hands, they reached out and grasped the talisman, their touch igniting a surge of energy within them. Their bodies tensed and their minds reeled as they instinctively understood that the path ahead would be fraught with unimaginable challenges, just as they were forewarned. As they made their way back to Hallowhaven, the talisman held tight in their grasp. The weight of the lost souls now shared between them became very heavy. Jonathan and Catherine knew that the true battle had just begun. They had the means to save the trapped souls in their hands, but the cost of their journey still loomed over them, waiting to be revealed. Together, they walked back into the heart of Hallowhaven, poised to face the darkness head-on. Their determination unwavering. In their hearts, they knew that they were the last hope for these lost souls and for the flickering light that was left in the town consumed by the void. Chapter 4, A Twist of Fate. Jonathan and Catherine had been tirelessly investigating the mysterious cult known as the Cursed Shadows for weeks now. They were determined to understand their motivations and put an end to their nefarious activities. Little did they know fate had something in store for them that would bring them one step closer to unraveling the truth. It was a cool, crisp evening when the duo stumbled upon an old abandoned house deep within the outskirts of town. It was quite the dilapidated structure, overgrown with ivy and surrounded by an eerie silence. As they cautiously approached the entrance, there was an undeniable sense of foreboding. Jonathan's heart raced as he reached for the doorknob, unable to shake the feeling that something dreadful awaited them inside. With a deep breath, he turned the knob, and the door creaked open slowly as if welcoming them into the unknown. Catherine followed closely behind, her flashlight illuminating the dimly lit hallway they found themselves in. The air was heavy with dust, and every step echoed through the empty space. Their curiosity led them further into the house, driven by the desire to uncover the secrets within. After what seemed like an eternity, they stumbled upon a hidden door, concealed behind a bookshelf. Without hesitation, Jonathon pushed it open, revealing a hidden chamber. The walls were adorned with gruesome symbols and disturbing relics, creating an eerie atmosphere that sent shivers down their spines. Catherine's eyes widened with disbelief as she took in the sight before her. Jonathon, look at these symbols. They're ancient and filled with dark energy. This is undoubtedly the lair of the cursed shadows, she exclaimed. Jonathon nodded, his eyes fixated on the intricate carvings. You're right, Catherine. We must decipher these cryptic messages. They hold the key to their intentions. He reached into his backpack and pulled out a notepad and a pen, embarking on a quest to understand the significance of the symbols. Hour after hour, Jonathon and Catherine painstakingly studied the symbols, cross-referencing various texts and attempting to decrypt the messages that were left behind on the chamber walls. Their dedication paid off as they slowly pieced together the puzzle, revealing a horrifying revelation. These symbols are not just a means of worship. Catherine, they are conduits for summoning dark forces. Jonathon murmured loudly, his voice now filled with trepidation. Catherine's face paled, realizing the gravity of their findings. They're planning to unleash unspeakable evil upon our world. We cannot allow this to happen, Jonathon, she stated firmly. And just as they were about to devise a plan to stop the cursed shadows, the sound of footsteps echoed through the hallway outside the chamber. Jonathon and Catherine exchanged worried glances as they realized they were no longer alone in the house. The door burst open and a figure clad in a hooded cloak emerged, its face obscured. So it seems you have discovered our chamber. A deep, chilling voice of many filled the room. Jonathon and Catherine stood their ground, ready to confront the mastermind behind the cursed shadows. Who are you? What do you want? Jonathon demanded, his voice filled with determination. The figure chuckled darkly, revealing a glimmer of satisfaction. You shall soon see. You shall know soon enough. But know this, you meddling fools, your interference ends here, they declared in one voice before disappearing into the darkness. The duo was left speechless, the gravity of their situations sinking in. They knew that now, more than ever, they needed to stop the cursed shadows and prevent the evil forces they sought to unleash. Little did they know their encounter with the elusive figure would lead them on a treacherous path, placing them on a collision course with evil that they could have never anticipated. The stakes were higher now, and the race against time had just escalated. Chapter 5, The Vengeful Dance. The vengeful dance had just begun, and just like that, and in an instant, Jonathon and Catherine found themselves no more in the house, but yet standing together once again in the dimly lit forest, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. The moon cast its eerie shadows on the ground, creating an atmosphere of suspense and uncertainty. They knew they had to outsmart the cursed shadows if they wanted to survive. As they cautiously walked deeper into the forest, Jonathon couldn't help but feel a sense of dread. The tangled branches overhead seemed to reach out for them, whispering ancient secrets and promises of doom, and Catherine's grip tightened on his arm, her eyes reflecting both fear and unwavering resolve. We can't let them win, Jonathon whispered, trying to convince himself as much as Catherine. We have to find a way out of this nightmare. Catherine nodded, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. We will, Jonathon. We have to stay strong. Their perseverance was put to the test as they stumbled upon a clearing in the midst of the dense forest. The clearing was adorned with stranger symbols that they had ever seen before, etched into the ground, surrounding a makeshift altar made of twisted, blackened wood. Jonathon and Catherine exchanged a concerned glance, both sensing the ominous power emanating from this place. As they approached the altar, a thick fog rolled in, encircling them with an ethereal presence. They felt the hairs on the back of their necks stand on end, an unnerving chill permeating the air. Suddenly, a deep, haunting voice echoed through the clearing. "Welcome, foolish mortals," it hissed. You have been brought into a dance with death." Jonathan and Catherine turned to face the voice, their eyes widening in terror as they beheld a grotesque figure materializing before them. The creature had the form of a man, but its flesh was twisted and decaying, and its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. "Who are you? What are you?" Jonathan managed to choke out, his voice quivering. The creature let out a sinister chuckle, its voice dripping with spite. "I am the guardian of shadows, and you have trespassed in my realm. Prepare to meet your end, for it has finally come." Jonathan and Catherine realized that they were trapped, caught in a deadly game orchestrated by these vengeful spirits, but they refused to be mere pawns in this twisted dance. With every ounce of courage and intelligence they possessed, they vowed within to outwit their adversary and reclaim their freedom. Jonathan and Catherine both knew that they weren't prepared for what was ahead, but they needed more time to study, for the wicked evil force that was now before them appeared to have the upper hand. Grabbing Catherine's hand into his own, Jonathan and Catherine turned and ran back to the small town of Hallowhaven. As night turned into day, Jonathan and Catherine sought with earnest to unravel the secrets of the cursed shadows. They deciphered even more ancient texts that revealed even further twisted rituals that had bound these spirits to the earthly plane. They pieced together fragments of information that shed light now on their enemies' weaknesses and vulnerabilities. Through their relentless pursuit for answers, Jonathan and Catherine encountered countless obstacles and terrifying encounters. The line between reality and nightmare became blurred, and they each found themselves questioning even their own sanity. But through faith, they pressed on, fueled by determination to survive and to protect each other at all costs. The vengeful dance continued, each step bringing Jonathan and Catherine closer to their ultimate showdown with the guardian of the shadows. As they grew closer to the truth, they felt the weight of the shadow of the world on their shoulders. Their journey had transformed from a mere fight for survival to a battle for the very existence of their souls, and had led them to an ancient forgotten castle deep within the woods. Chapter 6, Breaking the Curse. As Jonathan and Catherine stood at the entrance of the ancient crumbling castle in the heart of the forest, they felt a mixture of fear and determination wash over them. The castle loomed menacingly in front of them, engulfing the very embodiment of the sinister mastermind behind the cursed shadows. "This is it," Jonathan said, his voice filled with resolve. "We have to find a way to put an end to this curse once and for all." Catherine nodded, her eyes fixed on the castle. "We cannot allow Hallowhaven to suffer any longer. We have to confront the darkness that haunts this town and vanquish it." And with that, they stepped forward and pushed open the heavy doors of the castle. The air inside was stale and filled with a sense of foreboding, but they pressed on. The hallways were dimly lit from the outside as light pierced its way through the cracks in the castle walls. As they ventured deeper into the castle, their steps echoing, they couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. Whispers seemed to fill the air, the voices of the cursed shadows taunting them. But Jonathan and Catherine pushed those thoughts aside. Holding on to their faith, they focused on their ultimate goal. They reached a grand chamber, its walls adorned with tapestries depicting scenes of darkness and despair. At the center of the room stood the evil mastermind, a figure cloaked in shadows. His presence was suffocating, a palpable evil that threatened to consume everything in its path. Jonathan and Catherine exchanged a knowing glance, their eyes filled with determination. They knew that this battle would be their greatest challenge yet, and they were prepared to face it head on. "Who dares to defy me?" The dark mastermind sneered, his voice dripping with deceit. "You cannot possibly hope to defeat me." Jonathan stepped forward, his voice steady. "We may not be the strongest or the most powerful, but we have something that you do not. We carry the light of the one true God and have the power of his divine love in us, and that will be our strength." Catherine added, her voice filled with conviction. "And we will not let you continue to terrorize Hallowhaven. Your reign ends here." The sinister mastermind let out a dark laugh, his form shifting and morphing into a creature of shadows. He lunged at them, his dark spirits crackling in the air with him. But Jonathan and Catherine fought back, their hearts filled with the determination to protect their town and their faith in God. They dodged, parried, and countered every onslaught, refusing to back down. Words of faith were cast forth. Old swords and daggers they had picked up in the castle's chambers clashed, and the air crackled with energy. The battle was fierce, and sparks flew as good clashed against evil. But Jonathan and Catherine refused to be defeated. They channeled every ounce of courage and resourcefulness as they faced the darkest depths of even their own souls. They fought not just for Hallowhaven, but for every innocent life that had been affected by the curse. Just as it seemed all hope was lost, Jonathan and Catherine discovered the source of the cursed shadow's power. A cursed amulet hidden behind a false wall. And with a surge of their combined strength, they destroyed the amulet once and for all, causing the holder of its powers and its followers to crumble into dust. A loud scream was heard as the shadowy form dissipated, leaving only silence in its wake. Jonathan and Catherine stood breathless and weary, but triumphant. The curse that had plagued Hallowhaven was finally broken. The town was once again bathed in the warm light of hope and peace. As the dust settled and the echoes of the battle faded, Jonathan and Catherine looked at each other, a shared understanding passing between them. Their journey was far from over, but they were now more prepared than ever to face whatever challenges lay ahead. And so they walked out of the castle hand in hand, ready to face a future free from the shadows that had haunted them for so long. Together they had shattered the curse and had proven that love and determination could conquer even the darkest of evils. As the last remnants of darkness dissipated, Hallowhaven was bathed in a renewed light. The townspeople, once terrorized by the cursed shadows, rejoiced in their freedom. Jonathan and Catherine were hailed as heroes, their bravery and unwavering spirit and inspiration to all. From that day forward, Hallowhaven thrived, its streets now filled with laughter and joy. The tale of Jonathan Hartley and Catherine Kensington, the indomitable detective and the citizen who vanquished the cursed shadows, would be told to generations to come, so never to be forgotten. And as for Jonathan and Catherine, they knew that no matter what darkness loomed in their future, their bond and their unyielding determination in the light would guide them through any trial that came their way. The End. A short story written by Jules Mahalo. That's me. All for the glory of one Father, dedicated to the empowering grace and love of the Father, whom richly blesses me in doing amazing and disability-defying great things, reminding myself daily that though disabled, I'm not unabled, and in Christ, I am able to do so much more. January 17th, 2024. Thank you for listening and for subscribing to my amazing online book family. Jules.